This is Yair Davidiy, speaking to you from Jerusalem, the capital of Israel, speaking to you on behalf of Brit-Am Hebrew Nations, our organisation that finds the lost 10 tribes amongst Western peoples. And we prove it. We prove it from the Bible. We prove it from rabbinical sources. We prove it from historical sources, archaeology, mythology, linguistics, from any source that has something to say on a subject. We research it and we find it, and we have found proofs and evidence supporting our belief that the lost 10 tribes now are primarily amongst Western nations. That is what we do. Our organisation bases itself on three major principles. The three R's of Brit-Am are research, revelation, revealing the results of our research, and reconciliation, working towards the coming together of Judah and Joseph. That is the lost 10 tribes of Israel. Originally the 12 tribes of Israel. These 12 tribes split into two different sections. The northern section comprised 10 tribes. These tribes were taken into exile by the Assyrians. They lost consciousness of their identity, and they became lost to themselves and lost to history. And the Bible refers to them also as lost. Eventually they migrated to the west, and they became dominant among certain Western nations whom we identify. And we find today perhaps as much as 50% of descendants of lost 10 tribes amongst the inhabitants of the USA and amongst the inhabitants of America. If not 50%, a very large proportion of the 10 tribes are now amongst the inhabitants of America, of the USA. The others are found in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Ireland and Ulster, Scotland, Wales, England, Switzerland, France, Belgium, Luxembourg, Holland, the Netherlands, Denmark, Iceland, Norway, Sweden and Finland. That is where the lost tribes are to be identified as coherent tribal identities, and we have proven it and we have proof of it. Now we are speaking to you from Jerusalem, the capital of Israel, and President Obama has just been here. He's here about a day ago, 2 days ago. On the 20th and the 21st of March, he visited Jerusalem. He was here and he spoke, and he made a very good impression, and that was what his visit was intended to do, to make a good impression. As we say, President Obama has the best advisors and the most highly paid officials in the world, and so he should have, because he represents the most powerful country and the most wealthy country in the world which is responsible for a good portion of the stability of humanity, and therefore he should have the best and the brightest working for him, as he does, and they know what they're doing, and they prepared his visit for him according to his agenda and according to what he wanted. So we should not be surprised that if, together with some nefarious designs, wicked designs that he may have had against the state of Israel, they also buttered it up, sugared it over with some very nice sounding platitudes and appeasements and words of flattery and praise that had much truth in them, and reflected certain self-evident axiomatic points that are valid and that are worth taking into account, are worth considering. So the speech and the visit of Obama reflected and highlighted certain valuable points that are positive, that are worth thinking about and taking to heart once again, and confirm, even help confirm much of our teaching. On the other hand, President Obama had evil intentions behind his visits, and he wanted to harm the Israelite nations, to harm the state of Israel, according to our point of view, as we see it, and as we see it reflects the evidence, as we shall show. Also, but this President's talk is brief. Some of you will be relieved with this, but it's also of interest. One of the points we want to say that regarding Obama and his double dealing, his backstabbing intentions. Maybe a lot of you saw the Godfather Part 3, story about a mafia family of a mafia, and it shows in the gangster Vincent is told by his uncle to kiss his rival called Joey to make up. They've just had a quarrel, a fight between each other, and the godfather, the mafia boss, tells his nephew, who's also his successor, to kiss Joey, the rival, and make up with him. So then, Vincent goes ahead as if to do it, and then he bites him. He bites Joey on the ear, takes off a bit of his ear, and so this is reflective of what Obama is actually trying to do to us. He wants to take off a bit more than that. He wants to take off our whole head. Incidentally, The Godfather is a nice piece of entertainment. You want to waste a few hours, it's worthwhile looking at. It's probably better than a lot of other stuff available. But it also has some negative points. It romanticizes the mafia, who are a wicked group of people of robbers, of thieves, of murderers, of drug dealers, of pimps, and who are exploiting other people, protectionist people, money vendors, graft, exploitation, violence, prostitution, extortion, and numerous other vices which should be, which cost. Not only do they do evil to themselves and to other people, but they cost the whole of American society a price. And it should not be romanticized. It should be highlighted for what it is, a bad group of no goods. Whatever the case, that was the story. And we have a similar story in the story of Esau and Jacob. Esau and Jacob in Hebrew, Esau is pronounced as Esau. And Yaakov is how Jacob is pronounced. Esau and Yaakov. They were twin brothers. So the sons of Isaac. Yaakov was later renamed Israel. From Israel emerged the 12 tribes of Israel. Esau gave rise to Edom. He's also known as Edom. He gave rise to the Roman Empire and several other kingdoms of powerful entities and ruling groups in Europe, in Russia, in Germany, and other places. And so he is also important historically and in the present day. Balance of power, he is quite prominent. He also may have given rise to the early civilization of China and Japan and of other areas. Whatever the case, the story of Esau and Jacob has something to tell us. In the story of Esau and Jacob, Rebecca, their mother, the wife of Isaac, received information from a prophet that Jacob was to be the favourite child. Jacob was the one whom God Almighty wanted to favour. And but Isaac was a favoured. He had Esau. He wanted to bless Esau, and he gave him the blessing of the first right. And Rebecca heard about it, and she told Jacob to pretend to be Esau, and she helped him dress up as Esau. And Jacob went in. He took the blessing. And he received the power of the birthright and the blessing that his father had intended to give to Esau. This was given to Jacob, and the God Almighty affirmed this blessing. Esau naturally was upset about all this, and he was angry, and he wanted to revenge himself on Jacob, and he intended to kill Jacob. The Bible says he intended to kill Jacob. He plotted to kill Jacob. And Rebecca heard of it, and she persuaded Isaac to send Jacob away. And Jacob went to Laban in Aram, the north. Laban was the brother of Rebecca, and with Laban he met his wives, Rachel and Leah, and also the maidens, the maidservants of his wives, Zilpah and Bilhah, and he begat from them the tribes, the 12 sons who became the 12 tribes of Israel. And then he came back and returned. He left Laban and returned to the land of Canaan. When he returned to the land of Canaan, he heard that Esau with 400 men was coming to meet him, and so he was afraid, and he prayed to God. And God let him know that he would protect him and be with him. But when they met up, Esau came out to meet him, and Esau kissed him on the neck. It says, then Esau ran to meet him, embraced him, and fell upon his neck, and he kissed him, and they wept. Genesis 33, verse 4. Once again, Esau ran to meet him, and embraced him, and fell upon his neck, and he kissed him, and they wept. And the word embraced him, and he kissed him, in Hebrew, Yishakehu, in the Torah scroll, is written with the dots upon each letter of the word. Yishakehu has got a special dots on the top of each letter. And you don't find this in other words. Only in this word do you find this, and this, according to the tradition, comes to tell us that something is wrong with this expression, and he kissed him. He didn't kiss him with a full heart. He didn't kiss him as a kissing should be, not as it sounds. Rashi brings down from the Sifri, from ancient traditions, from the sages, and he said kissed him is dotted above it in the Torah scroll. There's disagreement on this point. There's those of you that are saying that Esau did not kiss him with all of his heart. Shimon bar Yochai says that the halakha is well known that Esau hates Jacob, but he took pity upon him in that moment. He kissed him with all of his heart. So here we have on one point that even though Esau is enemy or arch enemy of Israel, and sometimes he may have a relent. Sometimes there may be certain moments in history when even our enemies are friends to us and help us, as is indicated will happen on certain occasions in the Bible. Or there's also another opinion which does not necessarily, it sounds contradictory, but it's not necessarily so. It says, according to Rabbi Yanai, why is it dotted above? It teaches us that Esau did not come to kiss him, but rather to bite him. He wanted to bite him. Just like Vincent did in the film of The Godfather, he intended to bite him. The neck of Yaakov was made into marble, and Esau broke his teeth on the neck, and that is why he cried. So that is what it says, and it's not necessarily literally intended to be believed as it is written, but it's there to tell us a parable, to teach us something. That even when they come, bad people, even when they come to make friends with us, often have evil intentions behind their acts of friendship. This too appears to be the case with Obama, with President Barack Obama. And President Barack Obama was here a few days ago. Both Barack Obama and the entourage of President and his entourage, and President Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, and the government, and everyone around, everyone concerned with the matter, wanted to present their visit as a friendly act, an act of friendship between two peoples who feel strongly towards each other. And it was important for all sides that the visit should be presented as successful, as something very significant, and of warm expressions of friendship and mutual platitudes and praises of each other were uttered by everyone concerned, and everyone was interested in presenting a very nice placard to the whole thing. But when we look at what was actually said, we see that there were, together with the praises and the platitudes, was also certain things expressed which are not true and which are potentially very damaging to the Jewish people and to the state of Israel. And this is so we see that Obama really had a double intention. He had double-minded intentions. He had a backstabbing intention. Once he came to kiss, he wanted to stab in the back. That is what he plotted to do, and that is what he has attempted to do. He said things, on the other hand, he did say things that are true about the USA and Israel having a common history and mutual interests. He said that the future of Israel is bound up to that of the USA. And he said other things, and they're all true. He said good things, and Obama may not have intended to be his advisors. They knew what they were doing, that they got together. These people learned that they have PhDs and that they're immensely well qualified. And before they even get to their positions, there's a very intensive competition between people who are equally qualified as they are. So the best and the brightest do get up there, and they know what they're saying, and they tell the truth because the truth is acceptable. It's a principle in the Talmud. It says that things which are true enter the heart. Are acceptable. The heart recognizes the truth, and we recognize the truth that Barack Obama said a lot of true things. It also said bad things. He wrapped it up a piece of poison in a sugar coating, as if to say. But he included enough of the truth for people to accept it and want to listen to him. But Americans and Jews want to believe that these good things about each other, and they wanted it to be this way, and so he gave them what they wanted as well as giving them what they didn't want. But he didn't really give them much choice about or much time to think about it, or much opportunity to reply to him. Now let's see what Obama said, the very brief excerpt. He said a lot, he spoke a lot, he speaks well, he's been trained to speak well, he has trained himself to speak well, he also has a natural talent for speaking, and this is how he got to be where he is, through his personal charm and the grooming that he has received. And all of this Obama said, so as I began this visit, let me say as clearly as I can, the United States of America stands with the state of Israel, because it is our fundamental national security interest to stand with Israel, which is both stronger, which is both more prosperous, and it makes the world a better place. That's why the United States was the very first nation to recognize the state of Israel 65 years ago. That's why the Star of David and the Stars and Stripes fly together today. That's why I'm confident in declaring that our alliance is eternal, it is forever. The Netzach, that's what he said in the Hebrew, the Netzach, that is for eternity. This is all true and correct, but there was something else. Went over the head of the Israeli government, and he called upon the Israelis to pressure the rulers to make concessions for the sake of what he calls peace. But Obama struck a note of solidarity also with the Palestinian Arabs. He asked Israelis to put themselves, he said, put yourselves in their Palestinian place, in the place of the Palestinian shoes. Look at the world through their eyes. It's not fair that a Palestinian child couldn't grow up in a state of her own. Lives with the presence of a foreign army that controls the movements of her parents every single day. It's not just when settler violence against Palestinians goes unpunished. It's not right to prevent Palestinians from farming their lands, to restrict their students' ability to move around the West Bank, or to displace Palestinian families from their homes. Neither occupation nor expulsion is the answer. Just as Israelis build a state in their homeland, Palestinians have a right to be a free people in their own land. That's what he said. He's otherwise he's pushing the case for Palestinians, he's pushing the case to Israelis, because he wants the Israelis to cut their own throat to save him the trouble of doing it himself. That is the bottom line. Obama dwelt at length on the great achievements of Israel. He said that Israel is a great country with a very impressive economy, innovative society. If he says Israel should be able to risk giving up something of what it has got in order to make peace. Obama in effect was using sugar-coated approach to make poison slurs acceptable and accepted. Obama was lying. He tells lies. He was taking Israel isolated incidents and presenting them not in their context. He's presenting the Palestinians as being oppressed by a foreign occupier. This is not true. First of all, we're not a foreign occupier. The Israelis are here in the land of Israel because God gave the land of Israel to the Israelite nation. And the Israelis are that section of the Jewish nation that is here preparing the way for all of Israel and reclaiming the land on behalf of Israel as Israelis, as Israelites. And the Palestinians are there here because they are descended from foreign squatters who came in and killed and did other things and took over the land from whoever was here before them. Restrictions placed upon the Palestinians are due to their support of terrorists who try and attempt to, and sometimes, God forbid, even succeed in killing Jewish men, women and children. They sometimes even target women and children. They seem to prefer vulnerable targets, and they're not ashamed of this, they boast of it. So naturally their movements have to be monitored here and there. And in effect the Jews are too soft, they're not enough, the restrictions are not strict enough. And the observance of their movements and of the actions is not close enough, and their actions against the state of Israel, the humiliations of Israeli security people, of the army, of policemen, of people who travel on the roads, of innocent Israeli citizens who somehow mistakenly wander into their neighborhoods and have stones thrown at them, or travel on the roads and have stones thrown at them, and their cars ruined, severely damaged, and in several cases injury done to them, and sometimes deaths have also occurred because of this. And no other country would be as placid in the face of such antagonism as the Israelis are. No other country, no other people would take it as Israelis do. I know, this is true, you can check it out. Compare the level of evidence exercised against the Israelis and the actions of Israelis with any other case, and you'll find that what I'm saying is correct. Israelis take it too much, they take too much, and they lie And they're passive about it. They're reconciliatory towards this. They understand the Palestinians too well. They sympathize with them. The problem is that these Jews, the Jews suffered in Europe, they suffered amongst Islamic countries, and they take the feeling that what we did not like done to us, we don't want to do to others. And therefore we should not even retaliate, or they're hesitant about retaliation. And this is a mistake. This is a very serious mistake, and the Israelis should get over it. Instead of, they should be encouraged to get over it and to fight back and stand up for themselves. But instead of, and America should be the one who should be encouraging the Israelis to stand up for themselves, to assert themselves, to do what has to be done. And instead of encouraging the Israelis to do that, people like Obama are instead pressuring them to give in. And this always happens when you're too weak, when you show vulnerability. The enemy and the friends of the enemy will always encourage you to give in, to lie down and die. And this is a crime, and Obama is guilty of this crime. We should be aware of what Obama is trying to do, what he has done. The Palestinians want to massacre all the Jews here. They see kindness and consideration as signs of weakness and vulnerability and something to be taken advantage of, and not appreciated. All the compromises and goodwill gestures the Israelis have made up until now to the Palestinians have only served to weaken the Israelis' position, and of course deaths and injury to innocent Israeli citizens. Even the Arabs themselves ultimately suffer because of this. The Arabs themselves do not really want it, but they're pushed along by the fanatical Edomites, by all kinds of groups amongst them, by criminal elements and by the youth. And if you talk to the older, more mature Palestinians, they would say they prefer it was not this way, but they say they feel that they have no choice. This is the way things are going, and maybe they will benefit from it in the long run. At any events, this is facts that is not just. It's not just that this should be the way, and the Palestinians should be, indeed, they should be allowed to have their own country. They should be allowed to have their own state and rule themselves and cut each other's throats or do whatever they want to each other without others interfering. And this is what should be done. They should be given their own place of their own, but not here, not in the Holy Land, some other area of the world. There are plenty of vacant spaces in the world where they could be resettled. And the Israelis should expel the Palestinians and give them compensation, help them resettle, help them rehabilitate themselves. And according to the Bible, this is what will be done. According to the Bible, the lost 10 tribes and the Jews of Judah will together cooperate in flying the Palestinians to some place in the west. That's what it says that expressly in the Hebrew Bible, according to the Hebrew language. In Isaiah 11, he set up 11 verse, starting with verse 12. He says he set up a banner for the nations and will assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah. And the outcasts of Israel, the 10 tribes were outcasts, but they remained together in cohesive units. Cast out, but in cohesive units, whereas the Jews of Judah were dispersed. So in the end times, both groups will be re-gathered from the four corners of the earth. The dispersed of Judah will come back from the four corners of the earth, and the outcasts of Israel will be, that is the 10 tribes, will be assembled. They'll come together, and the envy of Ephraim shall depart. The adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not harass Ephraim. Up until that time, there will have existed some degree of tension between Ephraim and Judah. In the end times, this will not be. Who join together in one nation. In Isaiah 11:14 it says, but they shall fly down upon the shoulder of the Philistines towards the west. That's what it says. That's what it says in the English translation. 11:14, they shall fly down upon the shoulder of the Philistines towards the west. Isaiah 11:14. In Hebrew it says, when it says the words translated as fly down upon the shoulder of the Philistines, in Hebrew Afu Baketet Plishtim, Yama. And this, as we have shown, can also be understood, or may preferably be interpreted to say they shall fly the Philistines on wings towards the west. They shall fly them out of the country towards the west, someplace in the west, possibly Brazil, possibly someplace in South America or North Africa. To all events, they shall cooperate. Ephraim and Judah together will fly the Philistines. The Philistines being the Palestinians. Palestine, the word Palestine is a Latin. It's a Latin version of the word Philistia, how Palestine was pronounced in Latin. Philistine was pronounced in Latin as Palestinia, and that's where the word Palestine comes from. So the Bible is saying the Palestinians will be flown out towards the west, will be taken away and flown towards the west. And this is all for the future. We'll see how things turn out. The moment Israel needs to survive. We need to survive. We need to get past the present moment. We need to avoid the poisonous friendship of Obama. And may God Almighty help all of us and watch over us. And may He bless all of the people of Israel and the people of Judah. Thank you.